race of beings known as the Rohella, who descended from the sky and abducted local villagers. Could the newly unearthed cave art be a visual record that extraterrestrials really visited here?
There was an obsession of ancient human beings to depict things that they saw. And I think they did it with carvings on caves because that's what they saw.
But what is it about caves that made them the ideal canvases for ancient peoples to chronicle their experiences?
Caves are hugely significant in ancient mythology and legends, especially about the gods. They seem to be kind of a liminal point, a boundary place where the gods and humans can meet.
There is a whole hidden underground world of planet Earth that we're only just now beginning to discover. We don't know what's there. We could be discovering all kinds of amazing things. And it's possible that there are entire cities under the earth, whole cavern metropolises that are talked about in legends.
But while ancient cave art often reveals the type of animals our earliest ancestors encountered and their means for hunting them, there is a surprising number of depictions of strange-looking figures and objects that defy any conventional explanation.
In Australia, the Wandjina people, they painted images on their caves which eerily looks like the so-called greys of alien abduction lore today.
You have the strange petroglyphs in the Hagar Mountains in southern Algeria. You've got strange rock art too in the American Southwest. And when you look at it, and even have the natives explain it to you, they say things like, oh yes, he's the Martian god, or these are the star people coming from the sky.
How do we explain so many different cultures across thousands of years and thousands of miles, producing such consistent visual representations?
The ones that were discovered in some of the African caves, it's too similar to what has been discovered on every continent for it to be complete coincidence. So it's this whole idea of the spark of initial inspiration. What is it that they witnessed? And could it be that they witnessed extraterrestrials?
One of the more intriguing aspects of the cave paintings that seem to show aliens is why are they inside caves? This has sort of given rise to the theory that maybe these aliens perhaps have permanent bases on the planet underground. Maybe ancient man saw them coming out of some of these caves and caverns and then realised there was a relationship between the aliens and the caves.
In ancient times, caves were places of shelter. But is it possible our ancestors were also using caves to record and protect information about extraterrestrial beings who played a role in our existence? Perhaps the answer can be found halfway around the world in the American Southwest. The Grand Canyon. This epic 277-mile-long, 1-mile-deep fissure exposes millions of years of geologic strata. Imprinted onto this dramatic landscape are petroglyphs that depict everyday life as experienced by the first inhabitants of the region. But in one of the most remote corners of the canyon is a small cave covered with artwork that mystifies experts. Some refer to it as the Shaman's Panel because it appears to depict scenes of the supernatural.
All around the Grand Canyon are unusual sites and sacred
just as in Shirama, the native Hopi people here also have detailed accounts of extraterrestrials who came down to Earth.
In the Southwest, the Pueblo Indians, such as the Zuni and the Hopi, believe that there is an entrance into an underground world, and it is located in the Grand Canyon. And it's this mythological underworld of caves and extraterrestrials, the ant people.
The Hopi have this concept of the ant people. The ant people are very thin. They have elongated heads. And the ancestral Hopi people did make pictures of these ant people, which still survive today.
Is it possible the rock art found here and elsewhere around the world is evidence that the Earth's first inhabitants had contact with other worldly beings? And if so, might there be some significance to the fact that many of these strange petroglyphs are found in and around caves? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and suggest further evidence can be found by examining the ritualistic practices that continue to be performed inside caves even to this day. The Himalayas, northern India. Every summer, hundreds of thousands of Hindu pilgrims brave an arduous journey. They cross many miles of deadly terrain to reach the Amarnath Cave, a place of worship for thousands of years.
12,756 feet above sea level in the Himalayas is the most revered holy pilgrimage site for all of the people who follow the Hindu faith.
People die because of high altitude sickness. There's a simple fall off the cliff. And still people go there because it is considered to be the most holiest shrine.
According to local lore, this massive cave is where the god Shiva revealed the secrets of immortality and the creation of the universe to his wife Parvati. To honor Shiva, worshippers pay their respects to a sacred relic inside, an ice lingam, which they believe is a physical manifestation of his generative power.
To reveal the secret to transcending the flesh, the secret to true immortality, makes that site of extreme importance to the people in the Hindu faith.
To the Hindu faithful who risk life and limb to reach the Amarnath Cave, this story is a real account of an otherworldly being who is at this exact location here on Earth. But why would Lord Shiva choose to divulge his divine secrets in a cave? Could caves really hold special properties that have made them places of worship throughout history? Interestingly, the Amarnath Cave is only one of hundreds of caves around the world that have been at one time considered sacred. Archaeologists believe a 20-foot-long serpentine rock carving in Botswana's Rhino Cave was the focus of religious ritual as far back as 70,000 years ago. And cave monasteries can be found in France, Russia, Thailand, Ethiopia, and Hungary, just to name a few.
I don't think that this is a coincidence that places of refuge, spiritual refuge, are inside caves. This is where one can contemplate, one can hear one's inner voice without the distractions of the day.
One thing about caves is they're underground, they're unseen. Well, religion is about unseen things, going in
revered as sacred places by different cultures and religions all over the world. Ancient astronaut theorists suggest there may be a more profound reason, which can be found by examining the stories behind our ancestors' rituals. Yucatan, Mexico, 2008. Mexican archaeologists exploring just outside the capital of Merida make an historic discovery: an aquatic underworld full of mysterious offerings to the Mayan gods, including human sacrifices.
What they found was a system of 14 caves, and in them were stone temples, and they were all linked together. And it was thought that what they had discovered was the Mayan underworld known as Xibalba.
Some of this work is underwater. Divers would have had to hold their breath and go down and do carving underwater to make this possible. They were very devout, to be sure.
Central to the heavily Mayan ritualistic society was the belief that in order for them to rejoin the gods in the next life, the dead must make their way through a dark and perilous journey.
In the mythology of the Maya, we have these incredible references to Xibalba, which means the underworld. And we can read about it in the Popol Vuh, which is the book of the jaguar priests.
Some historians believe that the caves discovered in 2008 are indeed those caves that represented for the Maya the passageway to Xibalba, the underworld. But ancient astronaut theorists propose Xibalba has a more cosmic connection.
One of the most famous code breakers, her name was Dr. Linda Sheely. She dealt with the Maya language all her life. She is actually one of the people who have suggested that there is another meaning for Xibalba, and that's the Milky Way.
To the Mayans, who were very good astronomers, this represented the passageway to another world, Xibalba, the middle of the Milky Way. So when they refer to the underworld, they're actually referring to the sky above.
This suggests